Okay, welcome back. This week we are going to be talking about presenting. And as we're presenting our business to our prospects, something that is very, very important, and it is actually a big thing that leads to closing. It's something that we do in many cases to set up the presentation itself, and that is edification. Now, when I got started in network marketing, I did not have a lot of credibility with the people that I knew. I didn't have any credibility with anyone. And so what I did learn to get really good at eventually was learning the art of edification. And what you'll find is the top income earners in network marketing are usually the best at edification. And there is edification when you're in person sitting down to do a two-on-one presentation. There's edification if you're in front of a room and maybe you're inviting a speaker on stage to present. That's a little bit of an enhanced level of edification. I'll be talking about both, but the most basic form of edification, and edification basically just means talking good about someone. It's building their credibility or establishing credibility. And you see, what happens is with the people that you have trust. They know you, they like you, hopefully they trust you, but when it comes to business, you may not have any credibility, or you certainly don't have credibility relating to your network marketing company in most cases. And so it is important that we have the trust and the likability there, but if you want to really increase the closing ratios, then it's also important to have some credibility, and that's where you bring in a third party. Now, I read a book called Big Al Tells All, Tom Big Al Schreider, legendary in network marketing. It's a great book. You should definitely pick it up. Big Al Tells All. And he talks about the unfair advantage. And the unfair advantage is when you have two people that are presenting the business to one other person. It's almost like ganging up on someone, right? And you got two heads nodding and, one head going side to side. The two heads nodding, that overrides the energy of the person that's shaking their head side to side and, maybe a little bit skeptical. And so it helps having someone else in, but having done thousands of two-on-one presentations where I was the upline expert, I was the third party being brought in, I know this to be true. If I don't get proper edification, if they don't create credibility, the relationship of credibility between me and the prospect, there's a much, much lower percentage chance that I'm going to enroll that person. And here's why. Because if you have likability and you have trust with your prospect and you were to introduce me to your prospect, if you didn't establish credibility, I don't have any credibility, I don't have any likability, I don't have any trust, I don't have any power to help enroll your friend for you. And so it's super important to establish this. Now, in doing the credibility, it's important that we don't go overboard. It's not like we're saying someone walks on water, but it is important to let your prospect know that you're someone whose time is valuable, okay? You establish that relationship. It's called the edification triangle, okay? And it's part of the dynamic that really makes network marketing work. And so the way that this might look, if I'm, for instance, bringing my friend John in to show the business to John, and let's say my upline expert is Wayne. Okay, so I'm going to sit down with Wayne and John, and I'm going to say, hey, John, appreciate you sitting down with us. This is my friend Wayne who I'm working with. And, Wayne, John, really sharp guy. We've known each other for a long time, really, really smart, charismatic. If he understands what we're doing, I think he's really going to tear this up. Now, John, this is Wayne. Wayne is one of the most successful person I've ever worked with in business. He is a mentor to a lot of other people. He's helping a lot of people have success, including myself. He is my personal mentor, and it is just amazingly valuable to me to be able to have some time to work with him. It means a lot to me that he was able to sit down with us. And so, John, meet Wayne. Okay, what I've done is I've just let John know that Wayne is an important guy and you should listen to him. Now, I didn't give the command you should listen to him because that typically doesn't go over well, kind of giving commands like that, but it creates that relationship of credibility. That is the edification triangle. And then here's the key. Then I shut up. If Wayne is my expert and I'm bringing him in to do the presentation, I am not going to say anything. I'm not going to interrupt him. If Wayne forgets to cover a piece of the comp plan, I'm going to let it go. If Wayne forgets to talk about part of the product, I'm going to let it go. Because what happens is anytime I interrupt Wayne, anytime I correct Wayne, or anytime I, add my 2 cents, what it does is it takes away that relationship of credibility. Now, Wayne knows what he's doing. I'm going to let him do the work. Okay? That is the dynamics that makes this work. And I'll just tell you, if I am the expert being brought in, number one, I know if I don't get the edification, I'm going to have a lower enrollment chance. And so we are definitely going to have a conversation after we do the presentation. And I'm going to tell him that next time you absolutely have to edify me. And here's why. It's not because of my ego. It's because I want to help you be successful. And that's, me enrolling people for you. And so if you want to enroll a higher percentage, you need to edify me. Here's how you should edify me. So as a leader in network marketing, it's important for you to train people on how to edify you. It's important for you, if you're edifying someone else, get them to tell you how to edify them. It's something that you want to get really good at, okay? Now, if I am the upline expert being brought in and all of a sudden, my person starts to interrupt me, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either one, I'm going to get up and I'm going to say, so-and-so's got it from this point forward. It was great meeting you, and I'm going to leave. Because if they are trying to establish credibility and taking my credibility away, they don't need me, okay? It'll be the last time they ever interrupt me, okay? That may happen. Now, here's what I do more cases than not, is I hold up my hand and I say, hold on, and I just continue talking. And if they try interrupting me again, I hold up my hand and I say, hold on. And I keep talking. If they keep doing it, then I will exit myself. But personally, I'm not afraid to embarrass them a little bit and put my hand up and say, hold on. Or I might just say, stop. Or I might kick them under the table and hold up my hand, okay? The key is I know the psychology behind this. I know what works, and what works is the relationship of trust and the relationship of credibility, and the relationship of credibility is always going to win out in this case. Now, at the end of the presentation, I may encourage the person who has the relationship of trust, help close with the process. Now, I'll ask them, and that's, that concludes the presentation. Are you ready to get started? I might encourage the other person, jump in at this point because, you guys go a long way back. Push them over the edge. If they're on the fence, push them over. It's appropriate to do that at that point, but throughout the presentation, you do not interrupt. That's the process. Now, I'm going to go a little bit more advanced. I know most people who are purchasing Millionaire School are doing this because they're really trying to establish success. They may not necessarily be someone on stage yet, but I'm assuming that whatever level that you're at, if you're not there, you will be. And so edification from stage, if you're in maybe a hotel meeting or a public presentation, this could even be at a home party. It's important that if you're having a home party, for instance, that you've got your friends that you've invited over and you're bringing your upline leader in, that you do a good job edifying them. Now, if you're in front of a crowd and in front of a group of people, then one of the key points of edifying is, number one, saying some specific things about the person. One thing that I really learned to love about Wayne was this, and tell a story. See, facts tell, stories sell. never say that to your prospect. In fact, I'm going to say that in another module. We never say facts tell, stories sell, but they do. And so when I'm edifying, one of the things that I always try and throw in is a story about that person that makes them really stand out. So if I'm in front of a room and I'm introducing someone, let's say it's Wayne. Then I'm going to thank everyone for coming out. I'm going to handle the housekeeping. Everyone turn off your cell phones, put them on silent, put them on vibrate. And I'm going to be up here for just a brief bit because we have got an incredibly powerful speaker tonight. In fact, this is someone who I met a number of years ago. Here's how I met them. And I might tell, if it's an interesting story, I'll tell them. If it's a story about how they've been very successful, or maybe how they've helped me, how they've bent over backwards to help me, I'll tell a specific story. And what happens is when you tell a story, people tend to listen in. Stories captivate. And, I want to establish that this is someone very credible. This is someone that you should listen to. And if you're in front of a room, another thing that's important with the edification process is letting them know they are a good person, establish that trust. So with Wayne, I might say he's an incredible husband. He is one of the most amazing fathers I have ever seen in my life. I mean, you should see him with his daughters, the way her eyes light up and the way that his eyes light up with her. It's just refreshing. Every father should be like Wayne. So I'm saying something like that because it makes him more real. It's not just that he's super successful in business. He's also a really great guy. And then when I turn it over, I'd say, so help me welcome to the stage my mentor, my good friend, Mr. Wayne Nugent. Okay. And then I bring Wayne up. And so I say my mentor, my good friend. I'm saying my good friend because here's what it does. Psychologically, if someone is a good friend, they're a good person. And so it's almost like I'm transferring that belief to the crowd when I say that. And then I bring Wayne up. And just a side note, I may cover this in another module on presenting, but you always want to stay on stage until the presenter comes up. It's kind of a transfer of power, a transfer of energy. Ideally, you want to transfer that with a hug. So that just, again, they come on stage, you can give a handshake. A hug is more powerful. It just shows the audience that you really care about each other. It's more than just a business relationship. You're friends. You give a hug, and then you turn it over. So that is edification. Get this down. And here's what I'd encourage you to do. When you're edifying someone, write out a script. Now, if you sound like you're reading from a script, even if you have it memorized, if it sounds like you're reading from a script, it's not going to go very well. So write out the script and say it. Practice it. Go through it several times so it doesn't sound canned, so it sounds like it's real, so it sounds like it's you. And that will be one of the biggest pieces over your years in network marketing. You will notice that the best edifiers are the top money earners in the business.